All right, so we're back for the 2:30 session. It's going to be based on Google Sheets and pretty advanced techniques. Again, we have Miss Britni Nuckols here for our clinic.
Okay, so quick for those of you who weren't with us at 1:30, yes, I'm Britni Nuckols. I'm a middle school director here in Amarillo. I'm Google certified. Google is sort of my passion, and I use everything I can in Google that's free because the money that I have needs to go to other places rather than stuff, right? So I use as much as I can for free, and that's what we're going to play around with today. Like I've mentioned to the people here in the room, we've got lots of resources at this link for you. There's a whole Google folder of stuff to play around with. If we check inside that folder really quickly, there we go. I've got numerous things, some of which we're not even going to touch on today. But for instance, the slideshows for sheets and forms, those are for your reference at your own time. They have short little 2 or 3 minute videos on how to do a specific skill, and I show you how I use that skill to run my program. Okay, so those are there for you, as well as frequently used time savers. These are about calendar and various other things that I do all the time that I want to just share with y'all to help you get home sooner, because we work hard enough, right? So let's play around with some Google Sheets. If you are using the outline that was online for you, you can pull it up on your screen. If not, you can click on the outline from our folder here, your Google Sheets outline. Okay. From here, if we all click here to get a copy, you're going to see this pop up, and this is what we're going to manipulate today. And obviously right now you can't manipulate it. So you need to click in the top right corner, use template, and then you're going to have your own copy for us to play around with. Okay, so I'm going to let everybody get their own version of it before we play around. Please let me know if you need help making that happen.
I clicked on it and it opened a form. I don't have the little sheet.
Let me come see.
Oh,
We're on Sheets.
Yeah.
Cool. It's okay. I'm one of those I learn better by doing, so I make templates so we can all play together. Deal? Okay. So here's our example. And my household, we are Houston Astros people. Sorry, just you're gonna have to play along with me today. Go Stros. So here is a fake roster of my band, right? And first off, and it looks simple enough because I don't have many kids, but imagine maybe you have 50, maybe you have 300, right? These all work in various levels. So let's count how many kids we have in our band or in our class, okay? So let's pick cell A17. Let's all start right there. I wish, let me zoom in. Is that better? Okay, so we're gonna start in A17. Hopefully, since we're in Sheets Advanced, you know about formulas at least a little bit, right? We're gonna type a formula. Before we type the meat of the formula, we have to start with the equals sign. That way, Sheets knows this is not text, this is not a number. We want you to do something for us. It's a formula, okay? The formula we're gonna use is count A. And it automatically kind of found it for me, so if you click on it, it makes it all caps and it opens a parentheses. This is where we're gonna tell it what do we want you to count, okay? I want you to count all of this. So I'm just gonna click and drag. And it started filling in my formula where I want it to count. And then we're just gonna close our parenthesis. And we're gonna hit enter. Boom. Let's add somebody, let's pretend that I play baseball. Ha, isn't that funny? Let's pretend. Edit. We're going to actually insert. Let's insert a row above here I go. You can add your name or whatever you want to do. I'll be a 6th grader, woot woot, and I play clarinet. And for something we're going to do later, I'm going to give myself a locker number. But do you see that now it says we have 16 people in our class? Like, it does the work for you, okay? Now, if you add somebody here at the very end in column 18 or in row 18, that's where it's going to get a little bit trickier. You just have to move your formula. But if you add them in the middle, you're fine. Okay, we good so far? Yep, okay. Why is this important? You're going, well, I could just look, 17 minus 1 because you have a header row. Well, here's why. Let's get fancy and let's decide that we want to know how many kiddos we have in each grade level. Because maybe I'm tracking retention. Maybe my principal needs to know because 6th graders are going on a field trip and how many kids is that? Whatever it may be, I need to know by grade level how many kids I have. Okay, so let's set up a new formula. This time we're going to go to B18 and we're going to equal. We're going to start with count, but we don't want to count all of them. We want to count if they're in the 6th grade. You with me? Right? So count if, and if I type an I have 2 choices. And actually, we're going to pick, we're going to pick if. Count if. Okay? Count if. This range being a group of cells, so pick your entire range. We're going to click and drag. That's what I want you to count. I want you to count that section. If, to tell it the if, I have to type 1 comma, so it knows we're doing something else to the formula. If it contains, and now I have to put the number 6 in quotes, so it reads it as text. So trust me, quote, 6, end quote, and then I'm going to hit my parenthesis. I have to close my formula, just like we close the door, and then we hit enter. That's how many 6th graders I have. Okay? You with me so far? That can be a lot. We good?
Okay. I got my range in there, and then do you hit enter?
You have to do comma,
Oh, comma. Okay.
comma, and then we need quote 6 for 6th grade, quote, it's right here for you.
In parentheses.
Oh, quote. Okay.
Mhm.
And then you'll put what the number is you're looking for. Okay.
Yep. We good with that?
Okay.
Read right out.
And then you put parentheses?
Yep, and we close parenthesis. Did it work?
Yeah.
Did you get 5?
And then you hit enter?
Yep, totally.
Oh, okay.
It's not working? You want me to come check on it?
Maybe.
Okay.
That's not my friend.
That's great.
Not the 4.
Let's usually do the same thing.
Oh, because we didn't tell it what we wanted.
Well, I put, mine has 4 in it.
Oh, we put
Oh.
the same cell.
That's not good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So,
I
that's
got
why.
it.
There's a few less sessions.
I'm not a 6th grader.
There's a few less sessions.
Now here.
Yeah.
Now it. Okay. Now where do you want it to count? You want it to count
She
this
blew
way?
everybody's mind. She showed the QR code.
Okay.
Do you know about that?
For now on typing. Now what are we counting? So on the in this space. There's where we count for.
And then 6.
She showed everybody this picture.
And mine was 5 as I added my points. Cool, you good? Okay, okay. We're gonna do it again. I promise, we're gonna do it again. So, tell you what, I'm gonna take myself off this list so my counts equal y'all's counts. Fair enough? That'll help you. Delete the row. Okay. Let's try this again. So, let's do it a different way. And it comes in handy, especially for those of you who were just here with forms and people are typing answers to things. We can make it count answers, and here's how. So let's say we want to know how many kiddos are in 6th grade, press enter. 7th grade, press enter. 8th grade, press enter. Those are our grades. That's what I want to count. Okay? So let's come next to 6th grade. So we're in C17. You with me? Equals, count, if, and it opened my parenthesis for me, right? So let's drag our range. So we're going to click in C16 and drag all the way up to C2. Now, you need your comma because now we're done with the range, comma space. But now I want it to count if my range has this 6 that I typed over here. So I'm just going to click on B17. And then I'm going to close parenthesis. And it does it for me. So you can do it either way. Does that make sense?
Can you click on the formula again?
Absolutely. I'm going to zoom in on it too.
Okay,
But
I see.
maybe. I'm not going to zoom. It's being done. We okay with that? Now what's cool is with formulas, we can drag formulas, so we don't have to set up the formula for every cell. But I want you to notice something. Do not do what I do. You with me? Do not do this. If you have a cell selected with our formula and the bottom right corner has the little square, if your mouse hovers over it, you can hover, just don't click. Trust me on this. Hover and you see that your mouse turns into a crosshair. Okay? That means we're ready to drag. So if I drag that down, it only adds up to 14. But I have 15 kids in my class. Why is that? Because when you drag, it moves the range with you. So my first one started in cell 2 and went to 16. So when I drug it, it moved to 3 and 17. What? That doesn't help me. Well, here's how we're going to fix it. I'm going to show you first, and we're all going to do it together, I promise. Watch first. So I'm going to take my very first formula that worked. It was the range that we liked. I'm going to click in my formula right before C2. So I have parenthesis and then my cursor. And I'm going to add the $sign. Remember, you're not doing this, you're watching. Then I'm going to arrow over 1 and put another $sign. So I'm locking, it's only going to look in C, and it has to start in C2. And then I'm going to arrow over again. And I'm going to lock C16 as the end of my range. And then I'm going to hit enter. It doesn't look any different on the 4. But if I click back where it was and I drag it,
Wow.
now it works.
That's cool.
You with me? You get why this is Sheets Advanced? Like,
Yeah.
right? Mind blown a little bit? Okay,
cool.
so let's do this together. You with me?
It makes cash money. Biggest
Okay.
thing is the dollar.
We had our 6, 7, 8, correct? And you had your 4, right? Okay, so click in C17. So you're on your 4. Now, up in the top where you have your formula, we're going to add all of these $signs. It's not going to let me zoom in there, y'all.
Earlier, if you are up there and you go like this, does it make it bigger?
No. Mm-mm.
What about like?
Ah!
Yeah.
Okay. We'll just be humongous. There you go. That's the best I got. So you need to add a $sign before and after each C. So you're locking the column and the cell.
Do you know why you don't have to do that for the? Never mind.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to answer it anyway for those who are wondering. Why are we not locking B17? We're not, and I'm going to zoom out. Because if we locked B17, it would keep only counting 6th graders. When I drag it, I want it to move with it and count 18 and count 19. To count 7th and 8th graders. So that's why we lock what we're counting, or the range, but we're not locking what we're counting. Great question. Fantastic.
Mine is showing up for some reason as 3 4s. And I have the money symbols.
We'll agree.
I'm not sure.
Can I see it?
Yeah, most definitely. I was like, what? What's going on?
Oh. Because your formula has where we used 6 in quotes rather than the cell. So we changed that formula to read the cell rather than the number 6. That's why it didn't change it.
So this method right now is only usable if we change the criterion to the cell number and not
Mhm.
the text.
Right. Yes. This works when you have a column of cells that you are setting up as sort of your key of what you're counting. So, yes.
Wow.
So you could use this to count instruments and all that stuff, even though I have a better way for instrumentation that we're about to go to. But are we okay right now? Okay. Nobody screaming from the room. Hallelujah. How about online, folks? You guys doing okay?
No questions. I think we're good.
Sweet. Okay. So let's talk pivot tables. Hoorah! Yes. Okay. So pivot tables are amazing. When you have, like, for instance, true story, I've got like 80 kids in one class this year, and I'm going, and I've got to figure out how many play what and what I'm going to do, right? Yes, I could count them by hand. Yes, I could sort them by what they play, and I could count them. But why when there's a pivot table? So here we go. Let's take A1, and we're going to drag across. I don't need locker. You can include it, but we don't need to. Over to D1, and we're going to drag all the way down. Now, if I didn't have my formulas in the bottom, I would just select the entire sheet by clicking in this far top left corner. Are you with me? But because our example has other stuff we don't need, I'm not going to do that, right? But if this was just my roster sheet and nothing else, I'd just select the whole thing. Okay, we're going to insert. Let me see if I can zoom in again. Zoom, baby, zoom. I don't know. Okay. The thing is, if I zoom here, then you can't see elsewhere. So, okay. We're going to insert a pivot table. You have 2 choices. We can do it on a brand new sheet within this document or on the existing one. All the time I put it on a brand new sheet, but for right now, we're going to use an existing one so you can see it side by side. Does that make sense? I want you to see how they relate to each other. So we're going to click existing sheet. And now I have to choose where do I want this pivot table to occur. So I'm just going to click over here on G1. And then I'm going to say okay. And then it's going to go, are you sure? Yes, I really am. Do it. And now you're like, it didn't do anything. Who cares? Well, now we have lots of options. Okay? So for each row, let's say we want to know instruments. So we're going to click add instrument. And I'm going to scroll over just a little bit so you can see where we're going here. Okay? There's my instruments. Cool. Well, now I want to know how many play each of those. So let's look at values. That's what we want to find. Values, instrument. Okay? Now, if you're going, now wait a second, this is not in score order. Like my brain works in score order, right? Well, we can just come over here when we set up our instrument titles. You could totally come over here and go, okay, let's make this 1-flute. And now it'll start putting them. Let's find my oboe player and make them 2-oboe. Boom. And it fixes it.
Wow.
Now, if you're really a data freak, which I am, if you click back over here in G1, so I get my nice little pivot table options. Let's say, oh, for columns, let's add their grade level. You ready for this? Boom! How many in each grade level play what? Done.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Like, who knew?
I could have done all that.
Who knew?
Wow.
Okay, I don't use them often, but I use this for instrumentation all the time. So, true story, I have my spreadsheet for each of my classes. And when I do things throughout the year, I just make a new tab. Oh, we're going on a field trip, duplicate tab, and then put it how I need it and send it to my school. Oh, I need a list of who's going to solo and ensemble. Duplicate tab, delete who's not going, there's my list. So I have an open tab of my instrumentation for every class in every spreadsheet. Does that make sense? So I know what I'm dealing with. Because then when I come over here, we know we have 15 kids, right? We've established that. Okay, so let's do the weird thing, and we're going to add Britni over here. You don't do this, remember, it'll be dumb. But if I insert another row, and here I go, and it now updated the pivot table. And I didn't have to do anything.
That's great.
Sir?
If the information in the spreadsheet comes from a Google form, and somebody fills out the Google form,
Yep.
does that update the same way all the way through?
So what I would do is on the spreadsheet of responses,
Right.
I would open a new tab at the bottom. So here in the bottom left, you've got roster and instrument interviews. I would just add a page and make your pivot table go from your responses to the next one. Totally. Absolutely. Yep. That's why it's so
It's
cool
the
that
same as
forms
if
and
you
sheets.
It's the same as if you manually entered it.
Uh-huh. Yep.
$10,000 faster.
Uh-huh. We good so far?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Now, let's go to, okay. Let's take our same information over here. I don't know about you. I like things personalized. Their binder cover for band class. I want their name, their instrument, their locker number. So when they leave it out, I know which locker to put it in, right? Those are things. I don't want to type all that by hand. You kidding me? Like, no, I have things to do. I got Downton Abbey to watch. Like, let's go. So, I just discovered that this summer. I know I'm way behind the times, but season 3, I'm really mad. Anyway, so if we come over here back to our master folder that I gave you guys access to, if you need it, bit.ly, Band Directors Talk Shop 2022. Okay, there it is. In our folder, let's start with our cover sheet template. You can either go here and copy it, or from our outline, you can click on this template for our example. Either one. Okay, so I'm gonna find my sheet again.
Is that the R prep one?
Yes.
Got it.
Okay. Now, I've set this one up so we didn't have to start from scratch. I am happy when we are done to help you make one. Okay, this is trying to be a time saver. What we have done is I've taken the columns from my spreadsheet that I wanted on their binder cover, and I've now typed them on a Google Doc. So I've said, I want their first name, I want their last name, I want to know what instrument they play, and their locker number. Now, because those are called fields, we're pulling from the spreadsheet, I have to put the field in double carets. So it doesn't just type the word first. It's going to refer to my spreadsheet and go, oh yes, pull from that column. Do you understand that? Now, because I want it to physically say locker number before their actual number, that's where I type that as plain text that we type all the time. Locker number, then my double caret, and then I want it to pull locker from the spreadsheet. Does that make sense of when you need a caret versus when you don't? If it's the same for every kid, you type it in plain text. If we're pulling that data, we need a double caret. Okay? Now, on our spreadsheet, we all need to, and I doubt many of us have it, and if you do, kudos to you. We're going to on the very top, we want to choose extensions. And I need you to go to add-ons, and you're going to get an add-on, and we're searching for Autocrat. Mine happens to be installed. Yours probably isn't, so if you click on it, there will be a button to like add to Chrome or add something. You should have a different looking button right there.
When was the first one to pop up?
I-
Searching it.
It popped up for me earlier, but now it's not popping up.
What if it's grayed out and it says install disabled by admin?
It means your school district says you can't use it.
This is my laptop. How do I fix that?
That's weird. I'm not sure. And let-
Downloads may be disabled on your account.
Huh?
Like on your Google account, are you on your staff Google
Oh, I
account?
am on the school.
That's
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
So your school district may have said no,
Okay, so if I log in to another account, it'll let me have it?
hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go get it.
Okay. Now, once we've got that, we're going to come back over to our spreadsheet and we're going to do extensions, and you should then have it show up that it's now in your account. And we want to open it. Open Autocrat. Okay. We don't need this one, so just ignore it. We're going to make a new job. New. Okay. Let's give it a name. I'm gonna call it binder covers because that's what I'm making. Binder covers. And I'm gonna hit next. Can I zoom in on this? Oh, better. Is that better? Now, the cover sheet template that I gave you, I named it template in all caps for a reason so I could find it easily on this step right here.
Why does mine say that?
Because my template had it in there, so just start a new job.
Okay.
Because we're about to mess with that one next. Yeah. So we're going to choose our template from our drive. And here's the deal. Yes, you can create your template right here, right now, but I like to already have it done, which is why I had it done for y'all. Okay? So we're going to pick from our drive that we want to find our template. And because hopefully you just opened it not too long ago, it would be here, which of course mine is right here, cover sheet template. But you could just search cover sheet template. It was linked in your handout online that Tamara had for you. So we're gonna pick it, maybe. Hello?
Mine's taking forever to click too. Are y'all having internet issues?
Yes.
It's like I click and nothing happens, and then a
Mm-hmm.
minute later it clicks.
This is not cool. We broke the internet. Dun dun dun.
I was able to do that. It's nice.
So how do you insert it? So you're gonna go back to extensions. And then Autocrat at the bottom. Installing.
This is done.
So, go back. Reload the page. Refresh the page. Go back to extensions. What? Where'd it go?
Well, I mean, I have.
There it is.
Yes, after you install it.
Yeah, hit launch to open it up.
Then mine, I don't know what, I feel like mine looks weird.
Well, mine cleaned up.
I've used
Okay.
this before, but I
New
can't.
job.
Okay, this is a right, and we're just making a new job.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And we called it binder covers.
Whatever binder covers, name tag, whatever.
I was like, the Google thing is showing up like a folder.
From drive.
Okay, y'all. I'm gonna try and close it and start over and catch up with y'all. Hold on. We literally broke. I broke my computer. Okay, seriously.
But I did this.
Not cool.
Merge tab. It's roster. And this is the first.
Autocrat doesn't show up as an
again when I log into a different account?
Yeah, so what did you press? You press save.
I had to Google for it.
Just
Where
press
did
pause.
the same
Okay.
thing
Did
first?
you do anything else? Okay, 'cause that's strange. That's the one.
The work, that's the.
So the drop down menu next to it. Click on.
Did you find it if you searched?
There you go.
Yep.
Yes.
You're magic in all the wrong ways. Okay. Maybe mine will work this time. New job. Okay. ROM drive. Aha. Cover sheet template. We're back to something here. Okay. We're going to go next. Now, this is where things can get a little wonky. Merge tab. This particular spreadsheet we're playing with has multiple tabs on it. So we need to tell it which tab do we want you to pull information from. And I want to click my drop down and I want to pull from my roster. And then it's going to think about it. And it said, we have a problem. I know. You're fine. It's probably mad that the pivot table is there, but it'll get over it. So, next up, this is where, if you see it says standard, and then it put that first with the carrots. That's why we typed it that way on our template. You with me? And so because it's exactly the same way, it's case sensitive, it's happy that it goes, oh, you mean you want it to pull from the first column? Absolutely we do. Okay, same with last. Now instrument, I did this one wrong on purpose so we could learn what would happen. Instrument, it's going, hold on a second. No. You don't have a column that's called INST. What are we supposed to do? So you've got to pick your drop down and tell it, we want you to pull from the instrument column. Are you with me? So even if you mess up your template a little bit, here's where you can fix yourself. Okay? But that's why it popped up that little red tag. That was our error, Will Robinson will not compute. Okay, so now let's go next. What do we want to call this? I want to call this Bandcamp binder covers, so I know what it is. Now, it tells you underneath in little gray letters that you can even use caret tags to call it something. Here's where you may want to do that. Underneath, we can choose if we want it as a doc or a PDF, and if we want multiple or if we want single. For binder covers, I want singletons. Or no, I don't. I want multiple. Sorry. Talk slower. Okay. I want single output mode. I want one file that contains my binder covers for my band. But if you're doing things that you just need to find a specific kid for a certain thing, maybe it's solo and ensemble times that has all their information of what room numbers and where to be when. Maybe you want them as singletons, so then you can email that information home. Does that make sense? That's where you would want multiple output, is if you want each time it merges, you're going to get a separate file. Single output is let's put all the data in one file. Does that make sense? It's sort of backwards thinking, but yeah? So in your tag then, if you were doing multiple output, meaning a separate file for each individual student, that's where you could put in the tag like their name or something, so you could find it easier when you merge out and have 57 of the same document. You with me? Okay.
Brittany, would you type that in at the?
Up here, yeah. Then I would.
You would add a caret and put first,
Yeah.
caret last. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
You with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything that is a field meaning a column essentially in your spreadsheet, you can tag it across. Okay? Now, we can add a page break between data rows. That's fine, doesn't bother me. So we're going to go next. Now, hopefully you changed yours to single output. You really don't want 15 different binder covers in your drive right now. Okay, next. And I don't know what folder it popped up for you. For me, it's going to pull up the Bandcamp folder because that's where I'm messing with. But you can put yours wherever. I don't care. So if you want it somewhere else, you click your blue choose folder and pick where you want it to go. Okay? We're going to click next. I will be entirely honest. I don't even know what this one does, and I don't care because I don't use it. So I just skip 6. Who cares? I click next. I could learn. I don't care. Now, merge condition. You could be fancy and you could go, oh, it's just my entire trumpet section that lost their binders because they all threw them in the pool at the activity center and I just have to remake theirs, right? Sorry, trumpets. Then you could pick and make that a condition to say, I just want you to pull if the instrument column equals trumpet. You can do that.
Wow.
Okay? That's not what, I mean, when I'm doing them for my entire band, I'm just going to make it like when their name is not null. Basically meaning when it runs out of names, it stops. It's not going to try and pull my formulas at the bottom. It's going to stop. You with me? Okay? And actually, I'm going to make instrument not null because we have those formulas at the bottom. No. Let's make locker not null. I lied. We didn't put formulas in the locker column. I had to think backwards. Okay? Then we're going to hit next. You could share it if you wanted to. You don't have to. Okay? I'm going to, in an effort of time, I'm going to, if you hit yes, then you can get to where you can send emails. And those of you who want to know, I will totally go through that example next. I promise. Okay? But for this one, we're not doing that. So we're just going to say no. And we're going to hit next. A form trigger is, this is where, especially if you were doing the email thing and it was linked from it was a spreadsheet from a Google form like you brought up, the trigger could be every time there's a new thing of data, it sends an email. Or you could say, oh, I don't want it to do that. I always want it to do it at 6:30 at night. And you set the time trigger. That's what triggers are. Okay? And then we're going to hit save. And it's going to think about it. I will tell you, when you have a big set of data for it to work with, it's going to take a while for those blue dots to get through all the stuff. And just be fine with it. Don't freak out about it. Now, we have some options here back on our Autocrat screen. We can run it, which is what we're about to do. You can edit it. So if you run it and go, oh, nope, there's something I need to change, that's what the pencil does. You can even preview it to go, hey, let me see if the first one works. So let's do that right now. We're going to click the eyeball, and it's going to think about it. And we want to tell it, let's preview it for the first row of data. Let me see if this is really what I want. Okay, the document was created. So I'm going to click on the blue type because that's a link. So I'm going to click on it to preview it. Boom.
Ooh.
Now, you can change fonts, you can change sizes and colors and all that. You just have to change them on your template, so then when it merges, they're all the same. Does that make sense? Because if I change it here, I'm just changing Altuve's. I'm not changing everybody. You with me? Mm-hmm. So if you like it, cool. We can come back to our spreadsheet, and we can hit close, and then we can run it. And then it will merge all 15 and put them in a thing. It's going to think about it. This is why I only did a class of 15, right? If I gave you a class of like 100, it would take forever. Okay, so if we close it, now it gives you a link for every one, which I'll be honest, I did the thing. I zoomed in and now I can't zoom back out. Really? Fine. Just give me a second. I'll come back. Now, I'll be honest, I don't keep all these links over here because it makes my spreadsheet look messy and nasty. But because it's created it, it saved your file wherever you told it to in your drive. It's there. But you can just click on it and you can see them. There they be. Now, usually I have to tweak them just a little bit because it might, like, see, it moved Alex up a little too high. So I'll just, like, enter and space them down. You with me? But they're all done, right? So I use it for binder. Anything that I need to take their data and pull it out, this is what I do. Is that helpful for us? Yeah? Yes, no,
I'm just going to say, like, some of this is blowing my mind, like, more than I can handle right now, but I now know it exists, you know, and so what happened after her clinic is I didn't go home and use it all, but I knew it was there, so then when I wanted to use something and I was like, okay, I want to learn how to do this, I knew it was there and I knew I could go learn how. If you don't know it exists, then you don't know to go learn it. So hopefully some of you will get it and go use it right away, but if not, then someday when all of a sudden you're in charge of the roster, you'll be like, okay, I know there was a way to do it, and hopefully you can come back to this handout and get it.
Yeah. Helpful? Sir?
Can you like change the fonts and sizes before you do it?
Mm-hmm. So that's where you would change it on our template, our cover sheet template. That's where, okay, cool, let me, and see, I didn't pick fun fonts because I download other Google fonts. Did you know you can do that for free, by the way? So you can click more fonts and then you can like search and play around, and my husband goes, stop! And I'm like, honey, there's more in the life to Arial. But he doesn't believe me. He's gotten better. But that's where you can totally go, oh no, let's use Aladdin because that's fun. And yeah, you can do all sorts of stuff. And so then when it merges out, it will be in that font. Absolutely.
And that right there is why I refuse to use a merge, even though I print 200 name tags every year. I have hand typed every single one because I want them cute. And I care more about them being cute than saving time. And so now I understand that I don't have to do that. I can
Right.
vote.
Well, and then like we learned last time with your QR codes, here's where you put a QR code to your band homepage. If you have a website, you stick it on their binder cover, or you put a QR code to your calendar so they have no excuse to say, I didn't know when that happened. Like,
Or
I've
your
done that
Google
before.
form for the first day of school,
Uh-huh.
they're going to fill it out, and you give them that one thing, and they.
Yep, exactly. Cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, question.
I just did all that and I followed along with everything, but I just forgot, did we start that from the template? Like
We had opened the template just because I had made it for y'all, and I tend to have my template open before I start my merge, so it's easier to find inside of Autocrat rather than searching everything in my drive. It falls under that recents, so I can just use it. Does that make sense? It's not a have to, but it's a time saver for me. Yes, great question. Okay, if your mind is not, or if your mind is blown and you want to exit the room, there is no hard feelings. I am happy to spend the next 17 minutes to show you how you can use this to send personal emails
And
about
actually,
things.
we have director's band, so at the most you can use 6. And
I
then
can
they
use
will be
6.
running,
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to talk faster. Keep up as best you can.
And
So,
the video will be on YouTube for about 4 more days if you need to go back and rewatch.
okay, so instrument interviews. I only put 4 on here. So we're going to pretend that they signed up when they needed to come, like from a Google form. Let's pretend they filled out the form. Here's the data. Okay, it's got their time. Now, I asked for parent title names so I could refer to that in the email, and then I used my own email address for our example today. So, as I promised, I'm going to talk fast. I'm sorry for you. Here we go. In this one, I made an email template so I could get everything just the way that I wanted it, and that's where I put my fields again. And that's where I have their parent title, their last name, referring to their kid's name. Welcome to our band. Next year's going to be fun. I'm excited to meet you. And then you put their kid's name. And they think, whoa, you already are thinking about my kid. You with me?
That's
and
crazy.
when they're going to come try out. Okay, so there in Autocrat, when it talked triggers, that's where you say yes, run on a trigger. And you say in an email form. And you copy and paste this into that email box with all the tags. And it will send it to the email that you tag. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So they then get in their inbox, hi, I can't wait to meet you and your kid by name on this day and this time. And they now, one, have a reminder of when it is. Two, you're going to find out if they can't type their kid's name. You'd be shocked how many parents write me and go, you misspelled my kid's name. No, actually you did, but thanks. And then they now have your contact information when they need to reach out to you because they're going to be late, they got a flat tire, had to take the dog to the vet, whatever. They have a way to contact you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it's in Autocrat, triggers, and you're going to send emails. And then you just fill in the boxes. Cool? Okay. Any questions from people in the room? Because I know you got to get to director.
Can you get a moment? Please help me figure out how to make Autocrat work now.
Yeah, I'll come over
I
there.
think I've got it in there, but I don't.
Cool. Anybody else? No? Online people, they okay?
Yep.
Nobody's dying?
Okay, good. So I told it to install, but now it's not in extensions drop down in the
That's really cool. You can go to no, let me talk.
Okay, I need to sit down for dinner.
Oh. That's dumb.
So I'm going to go ahead and close out here on the stream. So we have our next session. It's going to be Atomic Habits for Band Directing at 4:30. So be sure to tune in on Director's Talk Shop on the same channel that you've been watching on. So have a good day.
what you were doing up there, and I was like, okay, I can remember this earlier.
I mean, you just gotta follow the
Are y'all
prompts,
able
you
to
just gotta
see
sort of know what's
how many
asking for, so
are
that's why we set them in.
online reviewing?
Are you planning on director thing?